Uh, t- some PBE changes. I don't know why Reddit is so weird. It feels really weird to read it. Continue. Back. Okay. So Riot posted some PBE changes yesterday on PBE, and I saw some people were a bit upset. So let's take a look at what's happening. So Camille will lose 20 HP flat. W base damage will go down 20 and 40 at max rank. Usually the ability you max last, I believe, even on support Camille. So the 20 damage is most noticeable here, rank 1. E base AD scaling is going down by 15%, and R on hit damage is also being removed. So the TLDR is that Camille is losing a lot of damage, and I honestly think these are probably more support skewed nerfs than anything, but still. Top lane Camille is gonna get hit too. Personally, kind of happy with this. Maybe it's actually gonna make Camille pretty bad. Not sure. I still think she's probably gonna be around 50% with this type of nerfs. They're probably about 2% big, I would assume. And Camille is between 52 to 53% win rate, so she's probably still going to be playable. Just no longer mega brain deadly OP, as she was already for like 10 patches in a row. So I'm kind of happy. It's just bound to happen when a champion is S tier in the role for so long that, you know, at some point you need to also nerf it and then put some other champions in that spot where they can shine. At least Human E no longer costs double mana. Human E must now walk into range to cast beyond max range unless you have a champed cast double enabled. Human E no longer costs double mana. Okay, so this is just like bug fix, I guess. Okay, sure, whatever, that's nothing. Aurelia is also getting some changes. Riot constantly is doing Aurelia changes, and I feel like every time they do them, they don't really get anywhere with Aurelia. At first, they were trying to make her better in low MMR and not much better in high MMR. Then they were like, oh, fuck it, we're gonna make it so she's better in high MMR, but worse in low MMR. Where are we going now? So passive attack speed, which got buffed like a couple of patches ago, is going down by 10 to 20%. So she's losing a lot of damage via passive. Q damage is unchanged here, but total AD scaling is going to be up by 10%. So Q is going to do some more damage. However, you guys have to also understand that Aurelia doesn't buy pure AD items, right? A lot of items that she buys also give other stats, like attack speed, like like health and stuff like that, right? So it says minion bonus damage is also going down. This is going down because of this buff right here. So it says this is a buff about 50 to 220 total AD, right? So I would say for the most part, you probably are hitting that mark for the most part. So she's going to be fine when it comes to minion damage. I doubt this is going to be unchanged that much. She's just strictly doing more damage on Q, on champions. And if you hit E's and R's, that's like even better for you. But the passive is getting worse. So I don't know. This so far, I would probably argue it's still a nerf though. I think the passive being better is probably more valuable. Cooldown of Q is going down by 1 second flat at every rank. This is pretty nice. Especially because this is ability she maxes first. This is going to be pretty nice, and this is going to change some windows of shading against Aurelia. And then cost of Q is also going down by 5. This is also very, very nice, because right now Aurelia lost cookies, right? The way Aurelia managed to manage mana was via cookies, and because cookies no longer give mana, Riot had to like kind of give her compensation here. This is very, very nice. This is basically like every 4th Q, you're gonna get a free Q, right? Compared to the previous change. But R will no longer passively reduce Q base cooldown by further 0.51 and 1.5 second cooldown. So, okay, so the buff on Q is actually only above till level 11, right? At level 11, once you get the final point into R, there's no buff anymore. So Aurelia is getting buffed only for 10 levels here. The cost mana Q is an early game buff, mostly. The damage on Q is mostly a scaling buff. And the passive attack speed loss is brutal, especially early and mid and late game. Again, I fail to see what Riot is trying to achieve here with Aurelia, because honestly, I think nothing is being achieved here whatsoever. I doubt her winner is going to move much. In fact, it might even go down, as far as I can see. I don't think this is going to push Aurelia to being any better than she currently is. The only nice thing that is happening here is the mana on Q. So I feel like what they should do is just scrap all these changes and just give her a little bit of a buff with mana on Q and just like call it a day, because honestly I fail to see what these changes are doing here. So then we have Kai'Sa. Passive first hit damage base is going to go down by 1, up late 1. This is mostly a nerf. AP scaling is going to go down by 3%. That's also a nerf to AP Kai'Sa. Passive per stack bonus damage is going to go down by half less. AP scaling is going to go a little bit up. Okay. Okay, this nerf is still bigger. Passive flat damage on 5th hit is going down by 1 early and down late substantially. AP scaling is also going to down by 1%. Additional damage from missing health is unchanged. So, I mean, okay, they're small nerfs to Kai'Sa. I don't think they're big, but if anything, this nerfs her AP build a lot more than AD build, right? If you're building AD Kai'Sa, I mean, the champion's not getting affected that much here. IMO, so this is like nerfing like what, Rageblade Gnasher type of Kai'Sa, sure, or like the Luden's Gnasher or whatever type of Kai'Sa, Rabadon. Seems alright. Kai'Sa is like slowly creeping up to be one of the best ADCs in the game. Simply because of on-hit ADCs are being really good with itemization, and Kai'Sa is a really good Rageblade user. And also because Jean just got nerfed, right? Jean got nerfed, and then all other ADCs, like Creed ADCs in particular, are really bad this patch. So Kai'Sa and Kog'Maw benefited a lot this patch, or like last patch, I guess, and this is why I guess she's getting a hit. She's probably a little bit too strong. This is probably deserved. I don't know. I don't think her winner is gonna move by much. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Riot puts another nerf on Kai'Sa. So then we have some Siver. Siver base AD up by 2. Okay, decent buff for lane. Q damage base 1575 to 6180. AD scaling is going to go from total AD to 100% all ranks bonus AD. Okay, so at every rank she gets 100% bonus AD instead of total AD. This is, if I understand correctly, this might be level 1 nerf. If I don't understand, if maybe I'm thinking about right, but like as soon as you buy any type of longsword, it's probably just a buff. Is it even a level 1 nerf? No, it's not. Wait, maybe it is. I think it is a level 1 nerf, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's basically a buff. Q is going to just nuke people a lot, especially mid to late game. It's going to actually hurt like a real ability. And then just a laning phase buff. This is kind of like akin to what they did with Misfortune a couple of patches ago, where they gave her like 3 AD or something and some W attack speed, and then BT, and like the itemization fell in place for Misfortune, and then Misfortune became super OP, right? Now for Siver specifically, they did give her tempo back, which probably not the best keystone right now anyway, but they also gave her like Essence Reaver kind of cheaper right now, so it's like we're slowly getting there where maybe she becomes a little bit better. She's already not too bad in solo queue for like low elo players, but not that good in high elo. And then we have the big Swain rework. So base mana goes down by 68, base magic mana region profile goes up. This is like better for support. Okay, cool. Then we have passive soul healing is gonna be 2 to 5% linear, level 1 to 18, instead of 1, 6, 11, 16, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is like nerf for sure. This is, I think, nerfed throughout most of the game, especially also late game and early game. So passive is going to heal a little bit less. Q first hit damage is going up by 15 at max rank, I guess, and AP scaling is going to go up by 5. Not that big of a buff, I would say. But repeat damage is going down, but the AP scaling of repeat damage is going up. I still think this is probably a nerf in repeat damage in early game, and probably mid to late it evens out or maybe buffs it. Total possible damage is now 125, 365 to 120 to 320, but AP scaling is up by 10%. Okay. So you need to get some AP for this to be a buff, right? Actually, you need to get like what, 400 AP for this to be a buff? That's a lot of AP. Cost of Q though is going down by 3 to 15. So this ability is going to be mega spammable in lane, and this is really good for Swain. W damage will go down by 10. AP scaling is going to go up by 5%. Okay, so you need 200 AP for it to be even. Minions are still 0.5 value. Slow is 50 to 70 for 1.5 seconds. It says this is a buff at rank 1 and a nerf after. Well, it kind of depends. Sometimes it's a buff in every case, because a higher amount of slow will also mean that your E is a lot more landable. Alright, and then reveal duration is going to be 6 seconds at all ranks, so that's like kind of alright. Like honestly, these are just small number changes so far. I don't think they move Swain much anywhere. So the big change is on E. Outgoing damage on E is removed, but incoming damage is now going to be 80 to 240 base damage, which is pretty good for an ability. AP scaling is going to have a real AP scaling as well, so it seems like this ability is just going to be much better if you can land it. Cooldown is going to be 4 seconds increased early game. So, okay, this is huge change, because this means you're going to need to max E second on Swain in every case, and if you're support Swain, maybe an argument for E maxing first. Cost 60 to 80, so here this ability is going to cost more mana while the Q is going to be cheaper. So it depends how many Qs you cast versus how many Es you cast. Missile half-widths are... Incoming has a bigger missile width, so it's going to be easier to land by 10, okay? Missile speeds, new, 1125, 100, 1800 with acceleration. Reaches max range after 0.58? What? So it's nerfed? So outgoing is nerfed, but incoming is buffed. So the hand goes out slower, but goes in faster? Is that how I'm reading it? But this is a huge buff right here. The incoming one is mega buffed. Mega buffed. And then R, we have base is going down by 5 to 25. Alright, that's pretty big. AP scaling down by 5%. Heal per second is going to go up late game by 5. Whatever, doesn't matter at that point. AP scaling is going to go down massively, but now scales with 1% bonus health. So it depends. Now Swain is 100% just forced to buy HP items, which is fine. Not sure how much HP you really need for this to be a buff. Recast damage is going to go actually up mid to late game. That's pretty good, but AP scaling down. Recast slow up by 15% to make it so E and W are easier to land. Can now be recast up to 100 times, 10-second cooldown affected by ability haste. Ooh, so you have like 50% CDR, you get Demon Flare every 5 seconds. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. And then cooldown of R is so nerfed. What the fuck? Okay, I think this probably forces Swain to buy Malignance every time. This forces Swain to buy Malignance every time. And then Zara repeat damage is 5% up, which is like also good for Rakan, alright? But this is like a small Zara buff, alright. I mean, not that small. It's an okay Zara buff, I guess. But like overall, this Swain rework, like they're really not trying to make him stronger. It feels like they're just trying to make him feel better because the E is going to be faster and Q is going to be more spammable. But power-wise, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if his win rate maybe goes down. Like 120 seconds on ultimate is way too much. Trust me, when Riot did 120 seconds on Akali ult, it completely ruined the champion. And I feel like this is going to happen the same with Swain. I really think this might actually just be nerfs to Swain for the most part. But he might feel better to play for some players in like low MMR and stuff.